All right, we're live. We are live, and today's message is committing to your breakthrough. Committing to your breakthrough. I woke up this morning thinking about yesterday's message and how I talked about sales being harder than they've ever been for most business owners. And then the next thing that hit me was today was, if you're in that spot or if you're not even a business owner, the idea of, life is hard at times and life can really kick some ass at times. And what is the secret about getting the breakthrough, getting the rebound, getting the comeback, and winning when stuff is not going well? And I'll tell you, like the first thing I made some notes here. So if I look down at all, it's because I'm checking out my notes. Is number one is when you're not in when you're winning and you got momentum, a lot of times you can't relate to what I'm about to talk about. And I remember a phase in my business life when it seemed like everything I touched was just like, bam, that worked, bam, that worked. Everything had momentum. It was effortless. It was easy. There's no way hiccups and curveballs are going to come my way. Now, big idea there is that Jim Collins wrote the book, How the Mighty Fall. And I didn't read the full book. He's also the author of Good to Great, and he's also the author of Great by Choice. And he talked about chapter 1, how the mighty fall. Number 1 is hubris. And hubris is another way of saying like arrogance or cockiness or whatever that might be. And what I'd like to say, because I thought about this, is like when I was going through that phase, while there's areas of my personality and identity, I'm a different person now than I was then. I would say I wasn't full of hubris. I would think I was naive, and that naiveness created blind spots in a lot of the things I was working on. And we'll go into more specifics in a second like that. So when things are going really, really well, you can't really relate to like, what do you mean? Like the committing to the comeback or the art of the comeback, or how do I get my mojo back when I feel like I have just gotten my ass kicked in every single direction? And because when things are going really well, it just seems like you can't fail. You got one domino after another is just working on. While when things are a struggle, it's like the opposite. It's like no matter what you do, you just can't seem to get it right, and it's just not working. And I could talk about this from the perspective of sports, business, raising children, relationships, and those things in money. And when it's good, you feel like you're untouchable. And when you're getting your ass kicked, you feel like you're never going to see your way out of it. Okay. So the first thing you got to understand, I have to remind myself, we have to remind each other, is number one, you're going to get through it. Okay. Number one, you're going to get through it. There's people that are a lot dumber than you, a lot less persistent than you, a lot less resourced than you, that have gotten through worse than what you're going to go through. By Viktor Frankl, and how he was in the prison camps during World War II, and how having something to look forward to was the secret for him. And he noticed that all the survivors that got through, I think it was Auschwitz. I may be screwing that up a little bit, so please forgive me. I didn't realize I was going to even talk about Viktor Frankl. But one of the things he said was the people that made up the belief that their families were waiting for them were much more likely to survive than the people that already knew there was no one waiting for them. And whether it's physical challenges, emotional challenges, whatever that might look like for you, if you have a reason to persevere and to get through it, people will, if the why's big enough, the what and the how will come. Okay. And so that's number one. Number two is, I wanted to share with you, is that do not lie to yourself and believe that the successful people who are doing great things, amazing things, have not either endured incredible challenges and blockages and had their ups and downs, or maybe actually going through ups and downs that you just can't see right now. I mean, I have friends right now that I can tell you their business is booming, but booming with capital letters across the board. They're phenomenal people. They deserve every single bit of it, every single bit of it. And I can tell you that they've almost went bankrupt 12 times. Almost went bankrupt 12 times. Like literally in the last 7 years. And there was a turnaround point that happened that turnaround point only happened because they didn't quit. Only happened to, if they would have quit, even, I remember, this is so good. Like I remember you go back a few years ago, because you would never imagine in your wildest dreams that these guys would have, they may sell their company for $1 billion. But just a few years ago, my friend was looking to sell his home. He was trying to offload everything that he could possibly get rid of to get cash. And right now his home, I think, is worth like 3 times the amount. He still owns it. And their business is just out of control. But they were negative bank balance multiple times. And then the pandemic shut down so many companies. So you just got to make sure, man, if we're on a comeback, you got to realize that there's so many people. You're not alone. You're not isolated. You're not on an island. You're not dysfunctional. You may have made some bad choices, but we all do. Biggest mistake doer right here, looking into this camera, is me. There's almost nothing you could tell me about what you've done that either I haven't done something similar or would not understand it, you know? And so the thing is that another client of mine right now who is just having a massive success run, 4 years ago, business is completely shut down. Okay. Went from multiple 7-figure business to like literally zero, negative, like that. Okay. And so you got to understand that the comeback is not something that's isolated just to us or you or me when things are going wrong, good, bad, or ugly. Okay. That people that have visions, people that want to do something are going to face many different types of adversities, and it's going to come in all different ways, shapes, sizes. I'll tell you a quick funny story. It's not really funny, but when my daughter got sick, she's been healed for 2 years. She was sick for 3 years. So that's 5 years ago. It's unbelievable how time flies by. But there were periods during that 3 years where we never thought it was ever going to end. The dark cloud that was hanging over us was so wrapped around us individually, as a couple, as a family, that we never thought we'd work our way out of it. We never thought there was any behalf, and we just were in a really, really dark place. Okay. But then when that breakthrough happened, I was like, okay, now I can get my head right back into the other things like business and making money and doing the things that are required as the steward of the household. Right. And it was like one thing after another just wasn't working. Now, Michael Masterson talks about this in his book, 0 to 100 Million. And it's important that people talk about these things and share these things, because he talked about how operating right now. And there was times where everything he tried, he couldn't make it work. Just couldn't make it work. So let's break it down a couple of things that maybe help you today, maybe a little bit of encouragement, maybe able to keep things right. Is that number one, we as human beings want certainty and predictability. The fact is, in life, we do and predictability of my outcome. I have to ask myself, what is it that I can control, that I can create certainty right now? Like, what can I control? Number one, I can control my attitude. Number two, I can control my breathing. Number three, I can say positive things to myself. Yes, it's very important that that is a model you go by in the comeback, right? You wouldn't believe the things I've said to myself that I'm like, that's not who I am. And they say, like, the devil will show up and whisper lies to you when you're in your most vulnerable spot, right? And so you need to know, like, that. And so I cancel all those things and I'm going to create certainty right now. I like to call it 5 minutes from victory because you can create a victory in 5 minutes. It's also a training little nuance that I like saying. Number two is you got to realize that you can't do this alone. Isolation, especially with men, especially over the age of 45, over the age of 40, shame, guilt, and mistakes lead to isolation. Isolation has nothing good to share with you. Just telling you that right now. Like, if you want to get in better shape, you just got to go to the gym around people that are already doing it. Nobody ahead of you will ever criticize you for your efforts and what you're trying to accomplish. It's only people that are below you or people that are judgmental and looking for you to fail or fall. And they don't even have to be haters. They can just be like, well, they feel better because of that happening. What I want to encourage you is that you got to get in the environment, the room, whatever it must be. If you got to volunteer, you got to do whatever it takes to be around the people that are already going and doing the things that you want to do. Isolation is not it, okay? Number 3 or 4 here, get the opinions of people that have already overcome the problem or issues or challenges that you're facing. Do not ask unqualified people their opinion about where you're currently at, because you're going to get unqualified advice based on their perspective, their level of risk, their level of understanding. And I can go on and on and on and on this, but if I'm going to go become a national champion in volleyball and my team's struggling right now, I'm not going and asking the person that has barely won a little more than me. I'm looking for the championship coach or person or people that have gone to that side, because getting on that side mentally is what's going to propel you and pull you forward. Does that make sense? Okay. This can happen. I wrote the book Time Collapsing. And when I've screwed things up, it seems like nothing in my world can happen fast. But I will tell